Okay, it's officially the first week in winter, and you're trying to figure out what you should be doing right now in your garden or in your homestead to get ready for 2025. Now, real quick, if you like gardening videos, homesteading videos, or even some off-grid videos, then click the subscribe button because that's the majority of the stuff that we talk about. Now, you clicked on this video because you probably wanted me to give you a list of things that you should be doing, but the reality is what I'm going to do is open your eyes a little bit to explain what I'm doing, and there are things in there that you've probably forgotten that you need to do too. Now, the obvious thing you should be doing right now is trying to figure out what you be growing for next year. You need to be thinking about what worked this past year that you did really well in, and if you want to grow it again. And the things you didn't do well in, do you want to give it a shot again? More than likely, you're just going to want to go back to the stuff that you feel good about growing. Now, we're an edible plant nursery, and we offer a lot of different fruit-bearing plants, but we also offer a bunch of different seeds. However, a lot of them are the most common things that you're going to want to grow this year. So if you don't have seeds already, now's the time to be getting them for next year. That way, you can be fully ready. Basically, in the next 30 days, a majority of you guys are going to be trying to start your seeds. So now's the time to be getting them for 2025. That's right. We just started winter, and I'm telling you guys, in 30 days, the majority of you guys down south will already be starting all your pepper plants and other things that aren't going to be directly sown into the ground. Now, it also goes without saying that you probably need to go ahead and get you some pots or some seed trays for those seeds whenever you get ready for next year too. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you that you need to be looking for this time of year to get ready for next year that you're not going to hear from most people is your mineral tubs. You need to be looking for mineral tubs everywhere, and you can get them from your local cattle farmers. These are what they keep protein in, and I use these to grow a lot of peppers in, and I've even grown zucchini and squash in them. But I use these religiously. Now, when I'm not growing things in these containers, I'm also using them to store a lot of things in. So either way they're being used, I throw a lot of my empty pots in them because it keeps them from blowing away. But overall, mineral tubs have a lot of different uses. Now, the other thing you need to be doing right now is building all the raised garden beds that you're going to try to grow things in next year if you want to do things in raised garden beds. Now, I built this thing this time last year, and I built it to actually put all my strawberry plants in there so they can spread around and run in there. I also put this cage on it to keep the birds out of it. So I actually put a top on here and put some chicken wire on it and made sure that my chickens can't jump on there and get anything. But the main reason you want to build your raised garden beds this time of the year is the last thing you want to do is buy a bunch of plants from all your local nurseries or even us and then get them and not have anywhere to put them. A lot of you will go and buy all these plants, then build all this stuff, and then it may take you a couple of days to build this thing, and you have the chance of actually losing the plants you just went and purchased. That's right, I'm basically saying that if you build this last after you've already gotten your plants and you forget a day or two of watering, more than likely you ain't gonna have any plants to put in this thing. So I suggest building your raised garden bed for not just that, but you also have all the leaves and all the sticks laying around this time of the year that are just falling off those trees. So it also makes it less expensive to fill these things up this time of the year too. All right, that's enough of the boring stuff. Let's go over what you should be doing with all your fruit-bearing plants right now. So the best way to show you what I'm getting ready to tell you is check out this T-post right here. You can easily see this thing's leaning in. And there's an issue with that. See, all during the growing season, your plants are real heavy because they have berries on them and they also have leaves on them. So they are the heaviest they'll ever be during the growing season. And all throughout the year, those T-posts slowly start being brought in because those pressure is on those lines. Now that pressure on those lines actually does two things. It actually pulls those T-posts inwards, and it also makes slack in those lines. So this time of the year, I highly suggest everybody readjust their T-posts and put the proper amount of tension on those lines to get ready for that extra weight on those plants this upcoming year. Now, I know for a fact none of you had that on your list of things to do to get ready for your homestead next year or your garden next year, but the reality is you don't want to do this or have to battle this whenever springtime gets here, because by then it's already too late and you'll be thinking about all the other plants that you need to be taking care of and everything else, because it'll already be springtime. So that'll be back of mind whenever springtime gets here, and it'll be a lot harder because everything will be a lot heavier and a lot fuller. So it's a lot easier if there's a lot less weight on these things whenever you start trying to tighten up those lines. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you you need to do to get ready for 2025 is to go ahead and start moving around all your dormant plants now. What I mean is, if you actually have berry plants or dormant plants that are still in pots and you want to plant them or move them into a new location, now's the time to do it. So if you want to multiply or propagate or relocate your plants from the ground, they're already asleep. So you can go ahead and dig them up, put them in pots, and then plant them in the ground somewhere whenever springtime comes, or you can go ahead and put them in their new location now. But you can do this time of the year because they're asleep and you're not at risk losing them. When you try to do this during the spring or summertime, you can actually lose them by trying to plant them or relocate them. Now, I'm sure I might have left a few things off because, again, this is just the stuff that I do this time of the year right here in my little homestead and garden in my backyard. But if you feel like I've left something off of something that you should be doing in the wintertime and you believe everybody else should know, comment down below and let everybody know what you should be doing. And if you made it all the way to the very end, I appreciate every one of you. And if you want to support us, you can always support us by buying our plants or anything right on our website at saltyacresnc.com.